Hello, welcome to the first ever house show here at, I would say my house, but it's my mother's house. And hopefully if this goes well, we might be able to do another one. And I can see charging for tickets next time will be unnecessary. I am Larry George, and from here on out I will be known as the Outlaw Comic. As we're here at my house because I have a home detention monitor on my ankle and cannot travel very far at all. There's some chairs up front, guys. Whole front row. Come on. We got some newer performers tonight. We actually have my son, Larry George III. He's going to come up a little bit later. We hadn't even seen each other in 5 years until tonight, so this should be fun. I have a few neighbors around. That's nice to see. Some good friends. Some really good, funny comedians. And I want to start off by mentioning I am from this area. I'm from Brownsburg, actually just a few miles from here. And it didn't take long growing up in Brownsburg to realize the name of this town was a hell of a lot more ironic than descriptive. I mean, you feel me? You know, Whitestown was at least up front about it. Let you know what you're getting before you pulled into town. I guess not a pro-Brownsburg crowd here. Oh well, that's fine. No, I'm not going to do too much time up here. My time is going to be a little bit later. I do want to bring up the best dressed guy for an outdoor show that I've seen in a long time. He's a little macabre, however you say that word. I can never pronounce that one. And I don't usually host, as you could probably tell. But Mr. Brandon Glidden, please give him a hand. He's coming up here to entertain you.
Yeah.
All right, so like Larry said, my name is Brandon Glidden. I'm also a former criminal. Larry, when I got my home detention anklet off, I kind of developed a little bit of a relationship with the guys that worked in the facility, and I was real excited. It was like midnight. I had an apartment like ready. I just had a carload of shit to take over there, and I was done. And as soon as I get that thing cut off, I jump up out of the seat and I run towards the doors like, carpe motherfucking diem! And that's when I failed to remember that these doors you have to be buzzed in. And so my first thing in freedom is bashing my face in and having to go to the hospital. Yeah, that was a great first day of freedom. I'm gonna be a dad soon, and I'm not quite sure if I'm ready. Because here's the thing, like, given my past, I've had a lot of people starting to come up to me asking questions like, okay, when you have a kid, you used to be a drug dealer. What are you gonna tell your kids about drugs? Like, are you gonna be the hypocrite parent? Like, don't do it, but I'm totally gonna do it in the garage while you're asleep. Like, I'm not gonna be that guy. Like, all I can do really at this point without being a dick is just give advice. Like, just go draw from life experiences and from personal experience. I know that I could tell my child, don't take 8 grams of mushrooms and try to drive your car. Because in my experience, that just lands you in a Nissan Sentra for 11 hours going, holy shit, wait a minute. If this thing was a refrigerator, hear me out. How much of this would still be useful? I like the windows, but I think the seats gotta go, because refrigerators are cold, no one wants to be in one long enough to pull up a chair. You catch my drift? And like, I don't know, like people are just like, like here's the thing, like I know here in the Midwest we tend to have a more Republican, like right-leaning thing, but I guess I'm pretty liberal, because I had somebody ask me the other day, like, so you having a boy or a girl? It's like, oh, we're having a boy. It's like, so what are you going to do if your son's gay? And I was like, oh, that's a very Midwestern question. Actually, I hadn't thought about it yet, but I guess it won't be too big a deal because I wanted a daughter anyway. So I'll just treat his boyfriends like I would have hers. Like, pull him aside first time I meet him, like, son, go help your mother with dinner. Yeah, you see that kid? That is my heart and soul. You hurt any one of his feelings, I'll fucking kill you. Well, I won't kill you. I made some promises to the wife I wouldn't commit anything past a misdemeanor anymore. But I'll break your legs and leave you in the forest. You hungry? Wife makes a great lasagna. Like, that's the type of parent I'm gonna be. Like, most people, like, who here has kids? Who knows what I'm about to go through? Okay, now when normal people I say that I choose those words carefully. When normal people go to child-proof a house before having a baby, you normally put stuff over the light sockets and stuff to keep the cabinets that hold the bleach from getting opened, right? We went to child-proof our house, and my wife comes up to me in about, I don't know, a minute and a half and goes, okay, lays out a whole bunch of stuff on the couch and goes, do you see all of this? Do you really need 4 knives in each room of the house? It was like, well, I'm a felon. I can't legally have a firearm, and I won't tell you where it is because I need you to have plausible deniability should shit ever go down in the household. It's just like, why do you need 4 knives? It's like, well, I'm Native American. I've always wanted to scalp a motherfucker. I can't help it. It's just ingrained in my DNA. But like, now that we're gonna have a kid, I'm trying to like relive those old childhood memories. Like I tried to watch kids movies, right? Like I'm huge fan of Angela Lansbury and the Bedknobs and Broomsticks movie. You guys remember that? That's like one of the only musicals I can handle. But like, I tried, since they're starting to put more stuff for the parents in these movies nowadays, because they know that they're the one dragging these little bastards to the show. Like, they're starting to put stuff in there for them, and I figured, okay, maybe I could tolerate some of the big hits from the last couple of years. So I tried to sit down and watch Shrek and Frozen, and about lost my goddamn mind. Because here's the thing, I've got felony charges. Like I tried to watch Shrek, and here's the thing: is it's set in horse and buggy castle times. They don't break into anywhere. Like break into the castle. It's where they keep the nice shit. And I know what you're thinking. Hey, they did technically break into a castle, but what did they take? They took a princess, and she came willingly. If Hollywood's taught me anything, it's that you blackbag her, zip tie her, and hold her for ransom. Get that paycheck. Or am I watching that wrong? I may be watching that wrong. But I got really upset with Frozen because I'm a big, like, Tarantino fan. And I'm thinking, okay, Frozen, lots of cold shit going on. Maybe I'll get lucky. And since they're putting stuff in it for me, maybe it'll end like a Tarantino film where half the cast dies of gunshot wounds and frostbite. I was sadly let down because I watched this movie and 10 minutes into it, 9 dance numbers later, I realized it's just an hour and a half of them singing, dancing, and dicking around. Like I feel like I have a false advertisement suit on my hands. Does anyone know an attorney?
I know a few.
Yeah, well, I only know a criminal defense attorney. I need someone that can handle like Hollywood shit.
Can't help it.
All right, well. Alrighty, let's see, how am I doing on time here? Alright, let's see here. Let me end you guys with this one. So, after I got released, I was lucky enough to find a job working at a funeral home. Now, they didn't do, like, your normal, like, funeral home stuff, like, where it's like, we have a funeral and the showings. We pretty much dealt with like biomedical training programs. So people that were learning to be doctors, to do hip replacements and knee replacements. I got to be the guy that supplied the cadavers for that. I got held at gunpoint in Gary, Indiana with 6 cadavers in the back of a 90s Astro van. Yeah, here's what happened. As I start my day, it's like 9 in the morning. I got to go to South Bend to pick up 2 of these guys and then go to Gary and pick up 4 of them. So I get to South Bend, I get the 2, and as I'm driving to Gary, that's when I learned that nobody had told me the gas gauge is broken. I get a quarter of a mile away from the Broadway Street exit, and the van goes, I'm like, oh, shit. I start talking to the 2 guys in back like, you guys better keep your fucking mouth shut if the cops get here. So I call non-emergency, and I'm like, hey, here's what happened. I work for a funeral home. I got some dead guys in the back, and I just ran out of gas. I swear to God, I didn't kill them. And the lady's like, well, that's funny. That's a new one. I haven't heard that. But I got your back. And so I go to this gas station. I get a tank. I get it filled up with gas. I get gas in the van. I get to where I'm going. I get the 4 guys, and I get back to that same gas station just off the interstate. And they preserve these things with what they call phenol alcohol, which if you've ever smelled it, it is a horrendous smell that will not leave you for 6 months after you quit that job. And I get my cigarettes at the gas station. I stand outside because I'm not about to smoke a cigarette inside that stink. So I smoke a cigarette, I finish it, and I go to get in the van. I I sit down and I go to shut the door, and a guy runs up, puts a gun to my side, and goes, "Get the fuck out of the van!" So as I am starting to come out of this thing, a bunch of stuff is running through my head. I'm thinking, oh, well, this is new. I used to be this guy. And then as I'm getting out of the van, my head gets clear, and I hear something in my head going, "Your hands are free. Your hands are free. Your hands are free." And so out of instinct, I just grab the gun. I pull it here. If it goes off, it's just going to go through the windshield. And I push off the van, and I elbow this guy in the face. We hit the ground, gun goes sliding. Kick him a few times. I go and I grab the gun. I pull the slide back, and nothing comes out. I drop the magazine. It's empty. That's when I lost my cool. I was like, "You ignorant motherfucker. I used to be you. How dare you try to rob somebody with an empty gun?" And by this time, somebody at the gas pump was already freaking out, "I got the cops on the phone." I'm like, "Thank you. I'm gonna need you in a minute." I hit him a few times with the gun. I wiped my prints off because I've seen enough Law and Order. I've been through enough shit. I know what to do at this point. I put the gun in the parking lot. This guy's trying to walk away, trying to get up, and I just am like, "No, you're not going anywhere." And at this point, I hear the sirens, and I know I only have a short amount of time to fuck with this guy before the cops get here, and I couldn't help it. I pick him up, I open the bay doors, and I said, "If I wanted you dead, I'd put you in the back with the other 6. And guys, I've never seen a black man get so pale. And at this point, the cop pulls up. I've got a foot on his back, and the cop's just like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, he tried to rob me. The white girl at pump 4 will attest to that." And so he comes up, he gets my information, puts us both in handcuffs. He comes back, talks to the lady at pump 4, comes back, lets me out of handcuffs, looks this guy in the face and goes, I ran your information. Do you know what this guy's record is like? You're not very bright, are you? And that's the time I got held at gunpoint in Gary, Indiana. And that's my time, guys. Thank you very much for having me. Larry, you're a sweetheart.
Thank you, Brandon. I did a podcast at Brandon's, and we did it with this next gentleman who is another Brownsburgian, bulldog. He's another bulldog. See this young buck up here is Mr. Nolan Miller. He filled in last minute. Let's give him a round of applause. Come on, Nolan.
I'm the exact opposite of Brandon. I'm not a hard ass. When I watched Frozen, I cried a little bit. I was like, "Oh, you just have to let it go. Just do it." It was a good movie. I liked it. I don't know what's your problem. I heard that story about Gary, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" How'd you not cry in that situation? That's what I would do. I would be like, "Hey, take my money, take my virginity, whatever you want. Just take something. I want to live. I'm a coward." There's people say there's alpha males and beta males. It's just heroes and cowards. That's all it is. I'm a coward. I'm okay with it. Gay Pride Weekend's coming up pretty soon, you guys. Last year I attended. I had some friends that were all in the hoopla and all that shit. But I attended. I was really upset with the parade because there was they call it Pride Weekend, and there was no lions at Pride Weekend, you guys. Not a single lion. A lot of bears, though. A lot of bears. Otters. Twinks. I'm talking about gay terms, you guys. I don't know if you knew that. It was kind of weird. I'm kind of stupid. I have a college degree, so I'm book smart, but I'm not street smart. Literally, once I was driving, and it was a stoplight, and it was red, and I stopped, and there's 5 cars in front of me, and it's red, and I'm waiting, and it turns green, and nobody goes, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm just gonna wait this out. 5 minutes later, it turns red and then green again, and I'm getting pissed off, and I actually get out of the car, and I go up to the guy in front of me. And all the cars are parked cars, you guys. I was just sitting behind parked cars for 5 minutes. I'm an idiot. I don't have any college debt, which is a huge deal. Huge deal. I was lucky enough to have really rich grandparents. that basically paid for all my college, and like they're both dead now, but thanks, like they really helped out in that one. But now I'm like trying to like look for someone like a significant other, and so I'm trying to find someone that like doesn't have any college debt, and it's so hard. like I'm thinking of like my ideal woman, and it's like a woman in her early 50s. She doesn't have any college debt, probably, hopefully. I also don't have any credit card debt. So like I'm trying to find like someone with no debt like I do. And so now I'm like looking at my like Betty White in shining armor, or like my mom, you know, like someone. Like there's nobody. Like everyone has debt. It's really hard. Those are my kind of problems, which I feel like a complete asshole about. Like, oh, I don't have any debt. Oh, my life is so easy. It's pretty easy though. I used to work at like a YMCA, like Boys and Girls Club. Like I watched kids, and I liked the job. I worked there for a year, but 6 months in, this kid comes along. He's a new kid. He comes up to me and he's like, "Do you want to know what I did for school today? At school today?" And I'm like, "Sure, yeah. I get paid for this. Just tell me what you did." He says, "Well, I was at the monkey bars. Someone cut me in line, and so I stabbed him with a piece of mulch." I was like, "Oh, you're a psychopath." Like, I'm talking to a psychopath right now. And I asked him, like, why are you here? Shouldn't you be in trouble with the principal? Like, how'd you get away with that? And then he does like the most prison yard shit I've ever seen. He's just like, "Max never gets snitched on." Oh. And I say, "Yes, sir." Like I just like agree with him. Like I'm now his bitch, you guys. Like I just let it happen. I was like, yeah, I agree. Yeah, sure, yeah, do your thing. And so ever since he like came every single week, and he was there, and like we were playing Foursquare once, and this girl was like the king. I don't know if you ever played Foursquare, but there's like 4 people in like a square box, and they're like hitting a like dodgeball around. And this girl was like in charge, and Max just comes, his name's Max, he just comes up, punches the girl in the face, and says, "This is mine now," and takes her place. And I'm watching it all, and I'm so scared of Max, I just let it happen. Like she looks at me and she's like, "What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "I don't know, he's in charge." Like, it's all him. I don't work here. But funny enough, a few weeks after Max comes along, this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, you work here, right? I wondered if I could have your number. I have a kid who like hangs around here, and I try to call the front office, but they never answer, and I just want to pick him up easy. So could I have your number?" Which is kind of weird. And just like for a preface, there's like a rule that like you can't have sex with any of the parents of the people, which makes sense, right? Like that's an obvious like rule, and I never thought I'd have to deal with that like as like a thing. And so it's a guy, and he comes up to me. He's like, "Can I have your number? I have a kid here." And I probably shouldn't have, but I gave him my number. And that night, I'm just sitting there chilling on the couch, and I get a text. And like, "Hey, babe," and I don't know what the number is. I'm like, "Hi, have I met you before?" And then I get a dick pic, you guys, a full-blown dick pic. And it was a cop. He was in a cop outfit. Like, a cop sent me a dick pic, and I had no idea what to do with it. I'm like, I should probably delete this. Oh, this is gross. What am I doing? I'm gonna get fired. Like, because I asked him, I'm like, "Oh, are you the guy who like I don't know if I know your dick or not, but like, you seem like that guy. Like, are you that guy?" And he's like, yeah, I thought you were into me. I'm like, that's not how it works. You just don't go to random people and ask for their number and then send them dick pics. But the next day, I talked to my supervisor. I'm about to tell him what happened because I don't want to get fired or anything. And I go up to him, and I'm like, "Hey, do you know, there's a cop that comes around here. I think he has a kid here. I'm not sure of his name. He didn't tell me, which is really shady." And the lady's like, the supervisor, he's like, "Yeah, like, what do you know about that?" I'm like, "Well, I was going to ask you." He's like, "Oh, well, the kid, it's Max's father." The guy was Max's father. No wonder Max is so fucked up. Like, what? And he's like, yeah, and I'm also banging Max's mom, which they're married. And so that's why I didn't know why you were coming up to me. So my supervisor's banging Max's mom, and Max's dad is sending me dick pics, and Max is stabbing people at school. And, like, what do you do with that? Because I quit immediately. I'm like, I can't do this job. This is really fucked up. I want to leave. And I just run out. I just get out of there. Because Max's family is just... There's people like that in this world. Let's see here. I accidentally killed my neighbor's cat once.
Once.
It was on accident. Like, it wasn't like stab, stab, psychopath stab. It was like a... Oh, I ran over my neighbor's cat. Yeah, my neighbor's cat would like hang around the driveway, and I would just, like, I would try to shoo it away, but I forgot once, and I ran over. And I did what any man would do, and I didn't tell anyone, and I buried it in my backyard. That's what I did. I didn't want the conflict, you know? Like, I hate conflict. And so, like, the next day, it's like a little girl, it's like her cat, and her parents knock on the door, and they're like, hey, have you seen our cat anywhere? And I did what any honorable man would do, and I got at eye level with the kid. It's important to get eye level with children. And I say, I haven't seen your cat, but I'm sure he's close by. Okay? Because he was in my backyard. So, like, what else are you gonna do about that? Let's see here. I wanna host my apartment for Airbnb because I don't have anything going on, you know. And I wanna have people like honeymooners at my apartment come in. That way, someone's having sex in my apartment, you know. Makes sense, right? I'll be like, hey, here's the kitchen. It's not exactly a kitchen, but you can still fuck there, you know. Like, feel free, go at it. I'll be in the other room. I'll stay here. I have nothing else to do, you know. Why not? Oh, it's like I'm like telling the whole world everything, but nobody's listening except for you guys. It's kind of weird, but it's also. Oh yeah, you're with me. That's good. I'm gonna do one more joke and get out of here. I want to make a TV show about a girl whose name is Shirley. And she has Down syndrome, and I want to call it Slowly But Surely. Yeah, it's an offensive joke, I know. I'm sorry. So I rewrote the joke for you guys to make it a little less offensive. I want to make a TV show about a girl, actually not a girl, a turtle. It's a turtle. His name is Shirley, and I want to call this show Slowly But Surely. It's about a turtle who's always late to work and has Down syndrome. Okay. Thanks, everybody. My name's Nolan Miller. Thanks for having me.
One more time for Nolan. Right on? Yeah. Funny young fella from Brownsburg. Who said us from Brownsburg can't be funny?
Seven.
I don't know. I heard that somewhere from some Danville or Avon people once. I'm not sure. Are we having a good time? We got one more comedian before we bring up our musical guest. When I was most recently incarcerated, technically I am still incarcerated, it's just at my house. This next gentleman, he helped me out quite a bit. As a matter of fact, he was my only comedian friend who was on my visitation list in jail. And through the video visits, we managed, through he and I and his laptop and some finagling through some equipment, to put me on live downtown Indianapolis while still incarcerated in Hendricks County Jail, which, as far as we can tell, is a comedy first for somebody to actually perform outside of jail while being locked up. So I did do that. But here you go. Here's Mr. Brent Lee Smith, one of my favorites and good friends. Thank you.
Let's hear from Brett.
Yeah. I think Larry likes comedy more than he does his freedom. And we did that twice at the tow yard. And then like we did 2 weeks in a row, and then he got out, I think, the next week. And then I told people, hey, Larry's going to be back next week. And they're like, oh, we're going to have him back from jail again? And they're like, no, he's going to be here in person. And everybody's like, oh, they'd rather have seen him from jail.
My fans.
Yeah, that was hilarious. But see him get up here, and got my sweet hat here and my glasses. It's a little more appropriate than here outside than it usually is inside a bar or club. But I wear this stuff pretty much everywhere I go because it got me some bad peepers. That's the official name. Doctors told me, hey, you got bad peepers. So what happened to you? So well, I was walking by and got in a staring contest with the garden gnome. Lasted 3 days in a thunderstorm. I finally won that contest. But the gnome didn't make it. He got struck by lightning. Rest in peace, Murphy. And the flash from the lightning strike is what gave me the bad peeper, so here we are now. Because of the bad peepers, I got blind spots where I can't see. So I have to look around and catch things peripherally because the spots are mainly my central vision. So ladies, if you think I'm staring at your boobs, you're right. I'm also just trying to see your lovely smiles. Aww. Fellas, though, think I'm looking at your junk, you're wrong. I don't even like looking at my own. That's why I'm trying to find me a nice lady to help me make mine disappear. That's how it works. Gotta stay hydrated, so give me a second. So I'm a single fella. There's only one of me.
I love that bit.
Me too. Try not to be single. My grandma gave me some dating advice. She said, never go out with a girl that's got a belly button ring. I said, okay. She said, yeah, because anytime you go down on her, she'll just fart in your face. Don't ask me how my grandma knew that or why she told me, because she's dead now and I can't ask follow-up questions. I told you, Bird, she's dead. Getting heckled by birds. What the fuck?
Crickets.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I'm choosing a fedora for a reason. And it's not because I'm a hipster. Because I'm not a goddamn hipster. These are not skinny jeans. I don't like shit tied around my nuts. Not pants anyway. So I'm a fly ass motherfucking pimp from the hood, that's what I am. So don't get it twisted. Being from the hood, grew up poor. So poor, we invited people over for heat. It's like, hey man, you want to come over? Yeah, what's up? I'm cold, man. You know, sometimes you play with people you didn't like because they had nice toys. Maybe they had a basketball goal, you go hoop or something. And play with people I didn't like for food. My mom tell me, hey, why don't you go play with Jason today? Jason? I don't like that dude. Are you hungry? So, I guess I'm playing with Jason. It wasn't too bad though. At Jason's house he had the name brand SpaghettiOs. Meatballs and everything. Go over there and be like, hey man, you pass the Kool-Aid? He's like, yeah. And he's trying to start talking with me. I'm like, shut up man, I'm just here for lunch. You'd be all mad. And then I'll leave after lunch. Well, fuck it man, I was just hungry. This week I had surgery on my ear. That's more than just my eyes are messed up on me. Well, I had surgery on my nose, but they took some cartilage from my ear to fix my nose. And the doctor was kind of funny, and like he left me in stitches. I usually don't tell corny jokes like that. But I do have a lot of stuff wrong with me. It's not just my eyes. I got problems with my lungs. I got these killer headaches. I call them fuck you headaches because like they're worse than migraines and all this other stuff. I got a tumor in my head. But it's okay. Well, it's not okay. It's a tumor. But it's stable now thanks in part to radiation. But it's been 8 years now, and I still don't have any superpowers. I'm kind of pissed about that. Couldn't even be something small like being less pale. I'm wearing a short sleeve white shirt. Come on, man. Like I'm not into like tattoos and ink, but if I ever got one, it'd be like a full body tan. But like I wouldn't trust anybody to do it. You know, I talked to Larry about it a little bit, but I knew if I let one of my buddies do it, I'd end up with at least one dick drawn on me. At least. Or I'd end up like in blackface or something. That's no bueno. Can't trust your buddies for that. And it'd be like somewhere I couldn't reach or. But sometimes, like I mentioned to people, I got a tumor, and I don't just like blurt it out, like, hey, I got a tumor, guys, hey. Like it comes up in conversation. And people are like, oh, you got cancer. I'm all excited. I'm like, well, no, I don't have cancer, and why are you excited that I might have a deadly disease? You know, it's like, it's not cancer, but it does give me a lot of problems. Like sometimes I sit down on stage, so I don't fall down again. One time I lived downtown and I was riding my bike to the Steak and Shake down there, and I got stuck on the circle because I wasn't feeling good. I get woozy a lot. Get it to where I'm disoriented and everything. And so I had to sit there till I felt better, and I wasn't feeling better, so I had to wait a couple hours till my friend was able to help me out. And this was when Pokemon Go was like at its height. And it took me 45 minutes for someone to be nice and move my bike 3 feet closer to me just to be out of the way. I asked this one dude, and he's like, I can't right now. And I was like, you're lucky I don't feel good, or I'd get up and smack the fuck out of you. I can't right now. Yeah. So, it causes me a lot of issues. I'm on disability because of it. So like if, I fall down again, I gotta be careful. I already fucked this up, but I'm gonna power through and say it anyway, because I started. So I gotta be careful, because if I fall down again, I don't get any more disability. I just get one more thing to deal with. And had I said that right, it would have been marginally more funny. Yeah, so I try to explain it, to these, oh, you got cancer people, and they're like, oh, suck it up, pussy. At least you don't have cancer. And I'm like, man, it's like I got the Mr. Pibb of diseases. That took way too long to explain. Yeah, but all this stuff I have is like really, really rare, especially to have all together. And then I found out not too long ago there's such a thing as Rare Disease Awareness Day. I was like, wow, that's cool, get a little bit of pub, maybe help, fix some things. That sounded ominous.
Train yards.
Yeah. But guess what day Rare Disease Awareness Day is on? Fucking February 29th. I don't think our day should be as rare as our stuff. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm not saying titties ain't worth it. I'm just saying they get a whole month. We get a day every 4 years. There's such a thing as, National Spaghetti Day. Like Hug a Puppy Day. Kiss a Goldfish Day. Goldfish last like 3 days. Maybe because all these people with herpes are kissing the goldfish and killing them. We get 1 day every 4 years. I think it's because they think that we're just all going to die off because of our rare shit. And just, we're going to forget about it. I haven't forgotten yet. Yeah. It's messed up. Have you guys heard of this dude named Farmer Frederico? No? Oh, his name's really Joe Johnson, but he insists on being called Farmer Frederico. He grows strawberries, and he says they're the juiciest strawberries around, but that's because when you get them from him, he pours extra strawberry juice on them. And I don't know how he gets all this money to pour strawberry juice that he buys from the store on the strawberries. And when he I forgot the rest of what I was going to say with that. That's what you get for trying to try a new joke. And the only thing you remember of it is the guy's name is Farmer Frederico. If you ever have an idea for a joke or a song or anything else creative, write it the fuck down. Especially if it's before you're going to sleep. Because what I had in my head was actually funny. Okay, how am I on time, Where?
You're at 12 minutes.
Alright. Saw some geese flying by a little bit ago. I've been in a deadly blood feud with geese for 36 years now. It all started when I was 2 and my parents took me to the zoo. We're having a good time, walking around, enjoying the animals, but this gaggle of geese was following us around the whole time. They were all marching around in formation. They must have been sipping on some lemonade. That's a Beyonce reference before she was born. And then, just as we're about to leave, they start chasing us. And we start running, and since I was only 2 and my legs weren't very tall compared to my parents, they ran a lot faster than I did. And so a goose caught up with me and bit me in the ass. And it hurt like a motherfucker. So I started crying. I was crying more because I got violated by a goose at the zoo than I did from the pain. So then eventually my dad comes back and gets me. And then picks me up. And then he's laughing at me, so I cry some more because I'm mad at him for laughing at me. And we get to safety, but I never forgot this incident. So now anytime I see a goose, I just want to grab it by the neck and just beat it to death and then beat it some more. But I can't because I'm a good person and someone will report me. But if a goose comes at me first, Indiana's a stand your ground state, and I will do just that. I will beat a dead goose to death. And then I give it to a hobo. He can use it as a pillow, he can pluck it, he can eat it, he can fuck it, I don't care. It's a goose and gets what it gets. Now I don't trust anything goosey. I don't drink because there's such a thing as Grey Goose vodka. All alcohol is tainted for me. I refuse to get goosebumps. In Top Gun, I cheered when Goose died. He had to be a commie spy. His name was fucking Goose. My dad and I had never been close. You think because of the usual reasons. He wasn't around much. My parents split up when I was young, alcoholic, all that stuff. That's not why. It's because he sided with the geese and laughed at me at the zoo. So fuck geese and fuck him too. Alright, that's going to be it for me. Big ups to Warrior for putting on the show. Thank you guys all for coming out. And we still got some more show coming up, so stick around and enjoy the show.
Oh, thank you, Brent. So far, I'm enjoying myself. I think it's going pretty well for a first attempt at a house show.
Yeah.
And next, we got the song stylings of Mr. Brian Kennedy. I'm not sure how long it's going to take him to get ready. But he's going to play us a few songs And then we are going to get Mr. Larry George Hensley III up here on the bass to back him up for a couple. And then after our little musical interlude, Mr. Larry III is going to try his hand at comedy and see if the funny runs in the family.
It doesn't run in the family
now. You get to
now.
enjoy my side-splitting brand of comedy, and then Randy Rollins will be closing us out with some of the funniest shit you've heard in a very long time. He's a very, very funny man. So stick around. Some music's happening right now. If you want to get some popcorn, there's pizza. We've got chili, cookies, all the bottled water you want. So help yourself. It's all free for the taking. Brian?
It was fun. I haven't been up since over a week, so it's nice to scratch that itch.
Neighbor, are you enjoying yourself? Carlos was talking.
Huh?
Carlos was talking.
Are you what? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
If anyone needs a restroom, I'm about to walk around. I can show you where it's at. You can follow me.
First Street on the right.
All right. Well, now I know how Brent feels. He usually comes down to the music open night and does comedy, so I'm just going to do music at the comedy show. It's probably about the same fish out of water deal, right?
It's all love, man. Bum, bum, ba-dum.
Hey kids, shake it loose together. The spotlight's hitting something that's been known to change the weather. Cool fat cat tonight, so stick around. You're gonna hear electric music, soft walls and sound. Sing Kenny and Ron, have you seen them yet? Ooh, but the soul is spaced out. Benny and the Jets. Oh, but the weird and the wonderful. Oh, Benny, she's a really king. She's got electric boots and mohair suit. You know I read it in a magazine. Oh, Benny and the Jets. Hey kids, plug into the faithless. Maybe they're blinded, but Benny makes them ageless. We shall survive. Let us take ourselves up low. Where we fight our parents out in the street, find who's right, who's wrong. Say, Kenny and Ronnie, have you seen them yet? Ooh, the soul's spaced out. Benny and the Jets. Oh, but the weird and the wonderful. Oh, Dennis is a really king. She's got electric boots, mohair suits. You know I read it in a magazine. Oh, Benny and the Jets. spaced out. Benny and the Jets. How do we in the waterfall? And she's a really king. She's got electric boots, mohair suits. You know I read it in a magazine. Benny and the Jets.
The manual fade out. Yeah.
There you go. That's an example of a live fade out.
And in my shoes runs the light. All papers lie tonight. Falling over you is the news of the day. Angels fall like rain. Love, love, love is all of heaven. Beside you, time moves. She don't fade. The ghost in you, she don't fade. Beside you, time moves. She don't fade. Races on nine on your side. Hearing you, engines die. I'm in the mood for you. Running away. Stars come down in you. Love, love, love. You can't give it away. Beside you,
requests.
But
Just let me request anything. We'll do one you haven't heard of.
You're leaving behind all the things you don't want in front of you. You don't want to come face to face with me, but you must understand the reasons I'm panicking, babe. True love was something I can't see. Well, I've rolled you in the grass so many times, and they say you have such beauty, you could turn a good man blind. It may be raining in my heart, catch that airplane flight, the sun will be shining in Detroit City tonight. Detroit City tonight. Well, I've held you in my arms these lonesome nights. Let's say that in Las Vegas you could put out all the lights. It may be raining in my heart, catch that airplane flight, the sun will be shining in Detroit City tonight. It may be raining in my heart, catch that airplane flight, the sun will be shining in Detroit City tonight. Detroit City tonight.
Couple more for you. And I'm going to bring up the bass player.
All our times have come here, but now they're gone. The seasons don't feel any better.
nice happy song for you.
Where's my cowbell?
Yeah, where's cowbell?
It's at home.
All right, well, one thing I actually do specialize in Irish music. So we do a little Irish number for you. And bring Larry the third up here. This is a little song called Rocky Road to Dublin. I love doing Irish music when I'm drinking, especially because you can always play it after a few beers still. In the merry month of June, from me home I started and left the girls at June. And mutton saluted Father Dear, kissed me darling mother, drank a pint of beer. The great tunes is smaller than off to read corn, leave where I was born, and it's down like corn, the best goes, the gums and brand new pair of brogues, rattling over the bogs, frightening all the dogs on the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and on the way to Dublin, what for Lodi Road. I rested late, so here he started fighting like the spirit fighting, and then he took a drop of that beer to keep me heart from sick, and that's the fatty skirt. Whenever he's on the rig and the sea, the lassie smile, laughing all the while, like they carry a style with such a heart, a bubble and as the fire was hard, wages I required till I was nearly tired of the rocky road. Dublin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn down the rocky road and on the way to Dublin, what for Lodi Road. Next arrived, it seemed to be a pity to be so soon deprived of view of that fine city. Then I text all upon the quality bundle it was stole, and in the neat locality something crossed my mind. When I looked behind, no bundle could I find upon my stick. A wobbling and inquiring for the road, said me conned rogue, was it much in vogue on the rocky road? Dublin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn down the rocky road and on the way to Dublin, what for Lodi Road. To away, me spirit never fell, it landed on the quay, just as the ship was sailing, Captain at me roared, said that no Paddy when I jumped aboard, the cabin found for Paddy down among the pigs, played some funny rigs, danced some party jigs, the water round me bubbled, and when the folly hit, wished myself was dead, I bet the bar instead on the rocky road to Dublin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn down the rocky road and all the way to Dublin, what for Lodi Road. Of Liverpool, when we safely landed, called me some a fool. I could no longer stand it, blood began to boil, temper I was losing, poor old Eritile. They began a kissing for all my souls as I shutting the island light. Galway boys were nigh, and so I was hobbling with the loud hurry, joining in the affray. We quickly cleared the way for the rocky road to Dublin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn down the rocky road and on the way to Dublin, what for Lodi Road.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Up next, we got Larry 3.
Well,
So Larry
I
the
don't know if you guys did figure out something.
Yeah, we did.
If not,
Maybe next time.
if not, you want to do one more real quick?
Okay. Then I'll do one more.
Yeah, one more short one.
The shot of these shirts. Really short. Those are real short. Let's see.
Do they recycle bottles down here?
Huh?
The water bottles?
Oh, I'm still drinking that one.
Well, but I didn't know if they recycle them down here.
I don't know.
The last coming in. You see the last? The last? Next?
Either maybe after this. I'm not sure. I didn't hear the order.
All out of hope. One more bad break could bring a fall. When I'm far from home, call me on the phone to tell me you're alone. It's easy to deceive. It's easy to tease, but hard to get released. Eyes without a face,
a face. Eyes without a face. Got no human grace. Your eyes without a face. I spend so much time believing all the lies, keep the dream alive. Now it makes me sad, it makes me mad at you, loving what was you. Eyes without a face. Eyes without a face. Eyes without a face. Got no grace. Your eyes without a face. When you hear the music, you make the dip into someone else's pocket. That made me sick. Steal a car and go to Las Vegas. The jello hanging out by the state line, turning holy water into wine, drinking it down. Oh, well, I'm on a bus on a psychedelic trip, reading murder books, trying to stay thinking about you. You're out there, so say your prayers, say your prayers, say your prayers. Now I close my eyes and I wonder why I don't despise. Now all I can do is love what was once so alive in you, but it's gone from my head. I better be alive.
Oh, didn't you? Okay.
Eyes without a face.
Yeah, right?
Eyes without a face.
Let's play that into the song, too.
Eyes without a face. Such a waste. Your eyes without a face. God knows. Your eyes without a face. Now it's
Yeah,
getting
like
worse.
20 years ago or longer. A lot of Irish clubs in New York City.
Brian Kennedy, right on. I think he's so good with that guitar, and he's got such a great voice.
Yeah.
Had the opportunity to get him on the show and to sing a few songs. I said, well, you know what? His PA equipment kicks ass, so let's do this. Well, then let's bring up a still fairly new in the comedy world. So let's give him our utmost attention and full understanding that he is the reason I had a son, because I no longer wanted to be called Little Larry, and we see how that fucking backfired. Once again, I'm Little Larry, and I am quite proud of him. He did just graduate high school yesterday. Congratulations, Larry 3. And he has joined the military. Evidently, he wanted to get back to his original form. He joined the Navy so he could be a seaman. But no, here is Larry George Hensley III. Get him. All right, how we doing tonight?
Hey.
Good.
I will never forgive you for naming me Larry George Hensley III.
Blame your grandpa.
Well, yeah, I could blame him, but I look too much like him. His stepmother, my step-grandmother, sent me a picture the other day, and it was of my grandfather when he was in his late 30s, and he looked just like I did, full beard, full hair, only when I confronted him about it, he said that under the hat there was no hair. And luckily enough for me, I'm 18 and still have all my luscious locks of hair.
For now.
10 more years maybe, but give it actually 6 months. Sorry, watch is on this arm. 6 months, and I will have no more hair at all.
I want a video of that.
I graduated high school yesterday, and very proud of myself for that. Didn't think I'd make it. Almost hit a few teachers, just because. Shouldn't have gotten in my face about it. Graduating high school, since we're going for low-hanging fruit tonight, already doing better than him over here. I don't have kids yet. Almost did, but that's another story for another time. We're all friends here. Yeah. Well, I don't have any felonies. I don't have a criminal record of any kind. I've been able to talk my way out of many a ticket, which is that's a good one. I don't have any tattoos, any piercings.
Yeah.
Tattoos are yet. I am going to get plenty of them. I plan on having full sleeves and a full chest piece, but for now, I'm gonna refer back to my actual given set that I wrote a couple months back when I did an open mic night. I always get a lot of flack for my long hair. Like get a job, hippie, or surf's up, or some people tell me to go get a haircut, and all these cliches, they're really getting old. So I was thinking of starting like a long-haired army, we get all these men with long hair, and we just, kind of just refuse to conform. So we just, choose to go against the normal way of having hair, really. Having short hair, that joke bombed. All right, let's go. Let's move on. Anarchy.
Yeah.
Gotta love you some anarchy. Music is, a lot of music comes from anarchy. Anarchism pretty much gave us metal music, and people think that it's super anti-Christian, but my answer just, well, yeah. Metal is very anti-Christian. Specific kinds of metal. There's Christian metal, but we don't recognize that as actual metal. I mean, it's kind of hard to get into the vibe when someone's pounding Jesus into your head more times than my friend's mama behind a dumpster. Yeah. Pity laughs. Most metal gets a bad rap because it's associated with the devil, but it's not true because the devil's way too nice to associate with guys like us. Black metal and deathcore, grindcore, speed metal, grunge, metalcore, hair metal, it's all one big genre, metal. But there's one I like the most, comedic metal. Comedic metal is by far my favorite kind. Such artists as Steel Panther or Tenacious D or any other comedic metal band. I mean, comedic metal is great because you could be like the most disgusting looking guy on the stage. If you know who Guar is, it's just these big guys in masks and rubber suits, and they just look absolutely terrifying. And I mean, you could look just like that and be playing like Hey Jude by the Beatles just to get a laugh. Or you could, it just throws people off, or you could dress like an 80s hair metal band and just sing about the most awful things and make it childish, make it funny, much like Steel Panther. Like the audio warming, screaming Old MacDonald had a farm into the microphone, that always gets a good laugh. But, yeah. Or you do like a parody of a song, like Ronnie James Dio's holy diver. You know, like ride the tiger, but only if you get his consent first. It is a wild beast, and you don't want to get any cat scratch fever. Yeah. What is a holy diver, honestly? I mean, when I imagine a holy diver, I imagine a guy gets up on the diving board, and they're really quiet over the microphone. They're just, he's attempting the holy diver. He will perform a cross swan dive into the Red Sea, parting it right down the middle. But high dive, crucifix corkscrew with a Noah's Ark twist, parting the Red Sea on entry. It's the holy diver. And if there's a holy diver, then, I mean, there has to be a pagan climber at least, you know. He seems to be attempting the Devil's Canyon wall climb. By Odin's beard, he's lost his grip, and oh, Dionysus protect him. What about the atheist? And what about the atheist pianist? You know, everyone hates it. Everyone hates what he plays, but deep down they all find it catchy. Now playing Science is Law. Up next, Get Off Your High Horse, You Know I'm Right. I do comedy as sort of I do comedy to kind of get rid of all the stress that builds up of high school, and since I'm done with that, then I don't need to be done with this, but I do need to step away and prepare some more gold for you guys, because we all know how well this went. And it's been great, actually. I've had a lot of fun listening to everybody's stories and performing for all you people. I had to delete some of my previous work because it was mostly impressions of Mike Judge characters. Beavis and Butthead and Hank Hill. I even had a Muppet in there, Kermit the Frog. And I had a Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. He's another one I like to do. Sometimes I like to pretend I'm an Australian and, you know, imagine I'm somewhere else that's not this hellhole of a state. I grew up here, and I grew up in Avon, but my mother moved me to Danville, which is a much smaller town. My graduating class was 180. Avon's was 800 and something, which I found was hilarious considering I knew all of them, and I'm pretty sure 90% of the class had an STD, commonly given by the same person, who shall not be named. But I want to thank you guys for coming out here and supporting the house show, and you didn't have to come, but honestly, most of you probably did anyway. Didn't have anything to do on a Saturday night. I mean, you know, well, that's my set. So thank you guys for not indulging in the laughter that I was hoping for.
Come on, let's hear it for Larry 3. This is a hard thing to do up here. It's a hard thing to do. I've been trying to Skype his uncle, my brother, in Pennsylvania. It's not really working out all that well. I don't know if he can see me or what, but we're still trying. Anyway, you just have me, and then the greatest headliner I've managed to get onto one of my shows so far here to date, all three of them.
That's not saying much.
I had Dave Dugan. He's all right.
Nice guy.
He's a nice guy. He's got a lot of deep voices. Oh man. Larry is my son. I have two kids. His older sister, my daughter. She is also in the military. She's in the Air Force. She's an airwoman, I guess as they would call it. All through schooling, little Miss Lauren, she was a straight A student, National Honor Society every year. She only went to school to get A's, and it irritates those of us who couldn't. But all through school, she got straight A's. She had 17 scholarships when she graduated high school. Her whole first year was completely paid for. Just goes to show you can drop them once. Right. Well, I caught her on the first bounce. I mean, you know, no harm, no foul, I guess. I never dropped Larry. You know, practice makes perfect. By the time he come around, I had a little bit more practice holding babies. And quite frankly, he didn't squirm as much. Oh, no, I tried to prove my daughter gets her brains from me with all those scholarships, and actually she's Air Force Intelligence, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't she in intelligence? Yeah. I try and prove she gets her brains from me by writing physics jokes, but the punchline always ends up fucking theoretical. Damn it. I hate that. I have written physics jokes. I'm not going to bore you with them at the moment. You know, as parents, we only hope that our children grow up to do better than we do. And I guess as a parent, I'm winning. Because, say he graduated high school, I got my GED. As he said, no felony convictions. I have 3 working on number 4. So I don't like losing, so you can say I set the bars pretty low so I wouldn't lose that round. No, I had great kids. They were both really good kids for the most part. No, I never had to spank him. Thank God. Look at how much bigger he is than me now. Alright? He won't even coming back after me. Remember that time you whooped me? Yeah, we don't want none of that shit. I'm too old and decrepit to be fighting my boy. Plus, I just got him back after 5 years of not seeing him, so tonight's kind of special for me, too. I'm losing my voice. When we found out we was pregnant with his sister, with my daughter, we got that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. You know, anybody ever heard of that book? You know, we read it, you know, as expectant parents. We read it all the way front to back. And in that book, it actually says to play music to the baby in the womb. You know, and I thought, well, great, you know, this is awesome. And I think I played a little too much Led Zeppelin, because when she came out, the doc cleaned her up and he slapped her on her ass and she went, ah, ah. That's a music joke. I like that joke. I don't care if anybody else does or not. It's one of my favorites. You might have noticed I have a little bit of a goatee growing out. It's I grew it out because if I start that, I grew it out because I was tired of being judged exclusively for the throat tattoo. You know, you probably can't read it from there, but it says trust Jesus. Now, don't think too highly of me. That was a prison decision. You know, and I feel like, you know, this decision made in prison is going to be. Well, let me just first explain the thought process behind getting Trust Jesus tattooed on me while in prison. I was sitting there and I was thinking, well, what is the most ironic tattoo I could have for when I finally get to hell? Yeah, trust Jesus. That's about it. Yeah, let's do this. And normally people ask me if it's trust Jesus, you religious. I said, no, it doesn't say trust Jesus. That says trust Jesus. He's my gardener. I've had him for years. I trust the guy with everything. That usually doesn't play. Oh, because it's always old black women that compliment my throat tattoo. Always old black women. They'd be like, oh, yes, preach it. I didn't even say anything. It would shock you to know that I'm an actual atheist with Trust Jesus tattooed on his throat. I make up for it by having DILLIGAF tattooed on the back of my head. If you don't know what that stands for, it doesn't look like I give a fuck. So, you know, yin and yang. Depends on which side you see me from. I know my hair is a little messed up. My last 2 haircuts, one was in one of Gray Clips and the other one was in jail most recently. And between the 2 of them, I swear I now look like no less than 10 of my lesbian friends. Damn, I need a new haircut. And then I do have all my hair, unlike my dad, who actually only lives about 3 miles that way and I haven't seen in 5 years. But I have all my hair. He has all his hair. Mine just happened to turn white. And that's about 17 years now of divorce. About 7 of them happily. And about 7 years ago, I got that phone call from his stepdad, second stepdad, whatever. I don't know how it is now that she's remarried again. His Rob. And he calls me and he's crying and he's like, man, you're never going to believe what this bitch did. Fucking try me. I married her first. And he says, man, she's been cheating on me. She's going to leave me. And once I stopped laughing, I said, you do realize I've waited 10 years for this fucking I told you so. So for a long time, he was one of my better weed dealers. Now, I say better, but you'd think, you know, a guy who stole your wife and kids and knocked $10 off a bag here and there. Yeah. Damn, dude, insult to injury. I guess he don't sell anymore. At least that's the story he's telling me. No, I can't buy. I am on home detention. I have the ankle bracelet to prove it. And I got put on home detention, I guess since it's matter of public record anyway, for drug dealing out of my house. So what did they do? They put me on house arrest so that they can get a cut of the profits of the dealing going on out of my house. Like, it's all a fucking racket, I swear to God, that's what it is. It's like, well, shit, throw him back to home. That's where he was making his money. We'll get some of that. Corrupt system, top to bottom, I swear. No, I have court Monday, and I'm sure I will get a plea agreement put in front of me, which I'm not going to sign. No matter how good it looks, I'm not going to sign it. Because I've learned my lesson to never take the first one they bring to you. Because I took the first one they brought to me on this, and I probably could have got a much better deal than 6 months of being stuck at the house. I mean, don't get me wrong, it could be worse. Jail fucking sucked. The highlight of my last jail stay was actually performing through Brent downtown Indianapolis, because he got me a little bit of, I don't know, I would call it street cred. It got me a little entertainment industry cred with the other prisoners, the other guys in jail. One thing, a little social commentary real for a quick second. I was just in a cell block that was supposed to hold 36 men if all the cells were at capacity, and no less than 2 of them were unoccupiable at any given time. And we had no less than 42 guys in there at any given time. So to say we were overcrowded puts, just say it's a little bit so understatement. I don't think that's a strong enough word, but that's what I'm using. But anyway, of the 42 guys in there was myself, maybe 1 or 2 other guys who were not IV drug users. Now, just a few years ago, I was in jail for 75 days, and there was 2 or 3 of us who were, or of them, not me. I don't stick needles in me other than tattoo needles. 2 or 3 of them in there that were IV drug users. It has flipped so bad, this heroin is a mad epidemic. Heroin and meth, they're shooting them both up, and they're giving each other Hep C. It's like the majority of the block had Hep C. They're all IV drug users. And I don't see why we keep people like that in jail, to be honest with you. If all that they got found with was a syringe and they're detoxing or withdrawing or whatever, take them to rehab. Don't clog them up in the jails. That's just the wrong place, because you're not going to help anybody by doing that to them. You're only going to hurt them. Now get off my high horse right quick. I want to rant because I hate the fucking jail system. Fuck the police. I hope they're coming around. Anybody call them yet? No? Oh. Yeah, that's all right. She's on vacation. But I want to get back to the actual jokes. I did grow up just a few miles from here, as the crow flies, that direction. Also, just that direction, there is a road called 950 East, and it has an S-curve in it as you're going up in between the next 2, whatever, Airport Road and 300. We have names for them out here, other than numbers. As you're going up there, and on that S-curve, there is a house that's back a little ways, has a nice big barn. Well, the guy that grew up there, we had a nickname for him. You ever give somebody a nickname that they don't know about? Well, back then, we called him Boo-Foo. But his nickname a little bit later became Horsefucker. Now, the reason we called him Horsefucker was because he actually liked to fuck his horses. No bullshit, he'd been caught doing this. Now let me explain. His family would board horses. It's not like they, were rich and had a bunch of horses. They would board horses to earn a little extra money. His job to feed them, water them, and evidently fuck them. But he would tie them up so they couldn't go forwards or backwards, and then he would hang both hands from the rafters from behind these horses with his pants around his ankles, and he would fuck these horses. No bullshit. People had caught him doing it. His first name is Mike. I ain't gonna go into his last name, Warner. But he actually got caught multiple times. Well, one weekend, I guess it was, his family boarded a house that wasn't, DFB, down for bestiality. Bless you, Brent. He wasn't down for bestiality, and he climbed up behind that horse and it kicked the living shit out of him. Knocked him clean through the wall of the barn. It was a long time before he was stable again. That's a long way to go for that joke, but you try writing a joke about a guy fucking horses and see if you don't end up with stable at the end. It's the only place I could take that motherfucker. I told everybody I'd probably be the dirtiest comic, you know, and I was in prison. I've been there a couple times, and you learn interesting things when you're in prison. You know, I learned things like the expression, lay on your back or I will. You know, you learn that one. And you learn things like, well, toilet paper is as good as gold in county jail. I swear it is. They don't give you enough. And when you have Crohn's, I have Crohn's disease, by the way. It's a shitty disease, pun intended. Anyway, getting enough toilet paper to last you is horrible. 2 rolls a week on Thursday nights is when it's delivered. For people without bowel problems, that could be an issue. But anyway, where was I, Brent? I lost my train of thought. Talk about toilet paper.
Crohn's disease.
You know? Jail? Jail sucks. Yeah. Well, also, when you're in jail, if you have a special diet like me, Crohn's disease, it sucks. I mean, it's horrible. It's one of the worst. They don't hardly feed you. No, well, they'll bring you food. Then you got to argue with them about what you can and can't eat. Actually, one time I was incarcerated there in the nice, great Hendricks County jail system. The nurse, I'd filled out a medical call for him because my Crohn's had been flared up and I was having a pretty rough time of it. And she brought me in and I got to see the actual doctor, which is rare there. Getting to see a doctor is rare. But I go through see my visit with the doctor, and he takes his time. He goes through everything that's wrong with me, all the medications I take when I'm not in jail, all that good stuff. And he orders a whole bunch of stuff to make me a little bit more livable. I wouldn't say comfortable, because you ain't going to get that way in there. I don't care what you do, you're not going to get comfortable. But I notice he orders all this stuff, and a couple days go by, and I've not heard anything. None of the medications, none of the extra mattress for, the whole 9 yards, nothing. So I asked one of the guards. Where I was at that time, we had no view of a clock or TV to even tell what time it was. We had it taken away. There's bad guys in jail that break rules, go figure. But we're in there, and I asked, I said, hey man, the doc ordered me this and that and the other, and the fucking nurse comes in there and she looks me in the face and says, well, what the fucking doctor orders you to get and what I give you are 2 different things. I run this fucking jail. That tells you all you need to know about healthcare in the jail system. Don't go to jail if you're not sick either. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there too, because it's just a shitty place all the way around. If you're not wealthy, don't go to jail. If you got a lot of money, you can get by all right in there. If you don't, you got to depend on the kindness of people like Brent and everybody else who sent me commissary money in there. And if anybody would like to make a donation to tonight for, food, drinks, my home detention fees, any of the above, unemployed, trying to make $56 a week payments on this damn ankle monitor so I don't go back to jail. But man, I don't like that place. I'll tell you right now, I don't like that place. But I have been being good. They're not going to get me on a technicality. So that's rare, very rare, that I'm good. Oh yeah, the things I learned in prison. That's where I was, Brent. I'm glad my brain finally got back around there. You bounce your head off the pavement a couple times and the shit happens. Anyway, I also learned, besides, lay on your back or I will, I learned that you don't shower when old Mr. Johnson's showering. I mean, that wasn't his name. That's what we called him. Unless you like looking at a black cock bouncing off kneecaps, pump, like a fucking pendulum. And by all means, he's showered every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 if you want to see the show. I don't recommend it. I only made that mistake once. Once. Yeah, and I wondered why everybody was laughing when I started in there at 6:42. No, you also learn in there that everybody wants to be your best friend when they find out you have false teeth. I think the most important thing I learned in jail, or actually I should say in prison, because it's a little different in jail, was that it's only gay if you push back. So try and get that visual out of your head. I'm gonna complain about a couple TV commercials before I wrap myself up in a blanket and go to bed later. But have you seen this air hawk? This thing that looks like a cordless drill, and you air up your car tires. They got commercials on TV all the fucking time for it. Anybody else seen that? I can't be the only one who's seen that commercial. Well, if you pay attention to the fucking cars in the commercial, there's 3 Lamborghinis, 2 Ferraris, and a couple Audis, and I'm thinking, people that can buy these fucking cars aren't airing up their own goddamn tires. I promise you that. I think you got your whole market research all fucked up. Of course, they're the only ones that can afford it at 2 payments of $39.95, but still, for a little air thing, it's like, no, I'll handle my $10 AutoZone plug-in. It might take 10 minutes to air one up, but damn it, it'll get there. And then, I don't have Ferrari money. If I had Ferrari money, I wouldn't have been single for the last 4 years, or divorced for the last 17. I can promise you that. Well, I might have been divorced multiple times. I say that, I might get married again, but next time they'll never find a body. Mine or hers, either way. And I did realize, and I know this is her son sitting here, but if the day she came home and told me, I'm cheating on you, I'm going to leave you, I had just reached out and murdered her right there, right then, 17 and a half years ago. I would already be out of prison. I would be employable, and I would probably have an actual relationship with both my kids instead of just now getting to see one of them after 5 years. So you've made some pretty fucked up life decisions when murder would have been the better option. Yeah, so I guarantee I've made some fucked up decisions. No, I started doing this whole stand-up gig, A, because I'm too physically fucked up and old anymore to do physical labor, but B, it was a lifelong dream. This is something that I can remember wanting to do from a young age, sneaking up to watch Johnny Carson late at night. I absolutely love comedy. I love telling jokes, and I continue doing it now. I skipped the whole part. And when I was in Riley Hospital for Children with my Crohn's, I spent so much time there. I watched a lot of comedy too, and all that comedy I watched, I think that laughter helped me to heal. Because laughter really is the best medicine. And I said, one of these days, I'm going to grow up, I'm going to follow my dream, and I'm going to get up there and I'm going to tell jokes. And I'm going to make people laugh and give them back that laughter and that joy that I was given all those years I spent in and out of that hospital. Now I continue doing it because I'm so highly addicted to all the laughter and the applause. And it's nights like tonight, crowds this small, that make me want to thank y'all for not feeding my fucking addiction. But I'm Larry George, I'm your host, and I'm about to bring you up. See, this is my time. I'm about to bring you up your headliner for tonight. He's going to knock out a good, fireworks going off, Randy. They got you.
They know I'm here.
They even know it. Damn, he comes with his own pyrotechnics. Of course, they overshot by a couple miles, but they're coming. Coming up next, we have the very, very funny,
Don't go overboard.
very, very talented,
Don't go overboard.
semi-retired,
Fully retired.
regular at Sideline Sports Pub in Avon. Because he loves it if you come up and ask him for an autograph. But, all right. That was a joke. Don't do that. I, on the other hand, I'll sign one. I don't give a shit. It might be worth something when I'm a serial killer 20 years from now. Randy Rollins, everyone, please. Give him a round.
Now let's give everybody a big hand you saw up here tonight. Come on, give him a big hand. Larry asked me to do this show tonight. He said he wouldn't be able to pay me. Now I understand why. He spent all his money on lighting and fucking decor. I really appreciate you having me come here to do, the casting call for Night of the Living Dead 2. Thank you. Looking around, I appreciate you guys being here. Had a rough day today. Started out the day with a little road rage. Has anybody had road rage? It's incredible the way some little thing starts and it turns into something big. I'm leaving my driveway this morning. I'm headed out so I can get some breakfast. And this guy cuts me off. And I'm like driving beside of him and he's flipping me off. I'm flipping him off. He's like, fuck you. I'm like, hey, fuck you. And it just kept going like that for like 3 blocks. Finally, I just turned right into him. Knocked that little fucker off his bike. Newspapers went all over the street. I don't know. Yesterday, we were in Chicago. We were driving down on 65. Did you guys ever think about resurfacing that son of a bitch? From Lafayette to Indianapolis, it's like driving on a cheese grater. I'm going down the road like this. And I look over at the car next to me, and some little girl's going, hey, look, Mom, it's Michael J. Fox. I said, shut up, you little bitch. I'm driving over here. Shit. I am retired. The good thing about being retired is at least I know one thing. Tonight I'm making the exact same amount of money Kathy Griffin's making it. Tanks her career and blames everybody else. Gotta love it. Let's see. Some strange road trips that I used to take. The road rage thing has turned into air rage. Have you guys been reading about these people that are getting beat up and like drug off airplanes?
Yeah.
Here's my story, because I don't understand why these people do this. Last year around Christmas time, my agent, now I only do like corporate stuff. You know, it's got to be G-rated. Thanks for having me here tonight, so I don't have to be G-rated. Nope. You know, you have to do G-rated, and he called me in October last year and said, would you like to go and do a corporate show in Richfield, New Jersey at the Samsung Corporation? And I went, sure. He said they're offering $3,000 plus expenses for a 1 hour show. Okay. He said they're kind of wondering if they want to hire a comedian or a clown. What the fuck? A comedian or a clown? So I got to send him some videotapes, and then, you know, he's on the phone with them, and they're kind of hedging and shit, and they finally decide they want to hire me. So they send the money. I go to the airport. It took them 3 weeks to decide on me rather than the clown. So I go to the airport. I get on the plane, U.S. Air, flying up to Newark. Of course, we got to stop in Pittsburgh, because if you fly U.S. Air, everything stops in Pittsburgh. I haven't figured that one out yet. Apparently, they love fucking Pittsburgh. So I'm on the plane. They make the announcement. They overbooked. They need 4 people to get off the plane. They approached me and asked me if I'd be willing to give up my seat for a $5,000 travel voucher. I'm making $3,000. I'll be in New Jersey 2 days. They're going to give me $5,000 to get off the plane. So I call my agent. We got a problem. U.S. Air's offering me $5,000 to get off this plane because they overbooked. He said, what am I going to tell the people at Samsung? I said, tell them they should have hired the fucking clown. I think that's fair. Ron White fans in the crowd? Ron White, I'll tell you Ron White's story. I love this story. Ron White and I pretty much got started in comedy about the same time. We're in New York City, Catch a Rising Star Club, working. The next week we were going to be in Cleveland. So we get done with the week in New York City. We're driving, Ron and I, across New Jersey, headed to Cleveland. Just for future reference, if you guys are wondering what the cutoff is in between speeding and reckless driving in New Jersey, it's 83 fucking mile an hour. They explained that to me. So I'm driving along, and on the way, there was a one-night show in this little club someplace in New Jersey. Ron didn't want to do it because he'd been drinking since breakfast. So I'm going to do the show. So we stop to do the show. It's like 8 o'clock at night. Ron's asleep in the car. I wake him up, tell him we're there. Do you want to go inside? He said, nah, I'm just going to lay here and sleep. Okay. So I go in and do the show, collect a couple $100, walk back out, get in the car. We're flying across New Jersey trying to get the hell back to civilization. And they light me up. I'm speeding. So I pull over, and of course I've got Indiana plates on my car. So like 6 police cars pull up. There's like one behind me and one offset behind me, one in front of me off to the right, one offset, and one right next to my door. Lights are flashing, the cops are all outside the car. Ron wakes up, looks around, reaches up on the dashboard, lights a cigarette, and goes, "Man, you must have fucking sucked." My Ron White story. Another crappy trip, went to Orlando one time, and while I was there, my agent booked me to do a wedding reception. Jeez. Okay, they paid me, I'll go do it. That's fine with me. So I go, and you know the part at the reception where they take the garter belt off the bride's leg with the teeth? Whoa, man, that got fucking wild. Apparently only the groom is supposed to do that. At least that's what he told me, kicking my fat ass in the parking lot after the show. I didn't know. While I was down there, I went to Hard Rock. Has anybody been to a Hard Rock?
Yeah.
Had a cheeseburger, fries, Coke. Went through the souvenir line, bought 2 T-shirts and a pretty little guitar pin, you know, to put on the shirt. $4,000. What the hell? The flight back home from Orlando sucked. I'm always looking for cheap airfare, and sometimes it bites you in the ass. I got stuck in the bathroom for 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. I wasn't airsick or anything. I just got my fat ass wedged in there, and I couldn't get out. I was not happy. Pissed off the lady who got stuck in there with me too, but she was not happy. But hey, she had quite the view, don't you think? Don't look too hard over it. Flights are something else. I always end up with the wrong seat. Have you ever been flying, you hear the pilot come on and say, for those of you sitting in the right side of the aircraft, if you'll look out the window, you'll see the Grand Canyon, the Great Pyramids of Egypt, and the Eiffel Tower. For those of you sitting on the left side of the aircraft, there's a guy named Steve mowing his grass. That's me, I'm always on the left. I picked a cheap airline. The in-flight movie was Alive. Does anybody know what that movie's about? It's about a plane that crashes, and for them to survive, they have to eat the people that didn't survive the crash. I looked at the guy next to me. I said, if something happens on this plane, the little blonde in 4B is mine. She wouldn't have to I don't know. Fucking airplanes, man. You know, I usually have an iPod with headphones in my ear whenever I fly because I'm not a good flyer. I'm not in control. It's going 600 mile an hour. I just need something to kind of soothe me. One time I get on a plane, the flight attendant says, "Sir, you'll have to take the headphones out of your ear and shut off your iPod." I said, "How come?" She said, "Because in case we have to make an emergency announcement, you need to be able to hear what's going on." And I try to explain to her, "No, you really want me to keep these headphones in my ear because I'm a horrible flyer." And she said, "Sir, I'm not going to tell you again. Take the headphones out of your ear. You have to be able to hear emergency announcements." And I said, "How loud do I have to have this fucking music not to notice the captain go whizzing by me strapped to a burning chair?" I can't stay real long tonight because I got to get home and watch my favorite TV show, Cops. Any Cops fans? Larry, I know you're not. But I love that show. You know, I mean, sometimes you just got to laugh at it. Last week I'm watching Cops, and this guy steals a car, runs from the police. They finally get him to stop. He jumps out of the car, runs across the street, runs through a yard, jumps a fence, down a gully, across a little stream, back up, runs through a gravel lot. They tackle him on the gravel lot, beat the living shit out of this guy, drag him back across the gravel lot, down the gully, across the stream, back up, over the fence. They get him in the car. They go, hey, watch your head. Survivor's another favorite show of mine. Survivor fans? Yeah, it's a good show. It's starting to get a little ridiculous because when a tribe gets to the point they're starving, they figure out some way to inject into the game, getting them some food. You want real Survivor? Take 16 people, give them all Air Jordans and a Rolex. Drop them off in Hawville, first one to Plainfield wins. Are you with me with that? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. I'm trying to lose a little weight. Man, it's tough. It really is. I mean, how many people are like me? You go on a diet and for 3 days you're really gung-ho. I mean, you couldn't drive a Snickers bar at my ass with a 20-pound sledgehammer. Day 4. I'm looking for skinny people to slap the living shit out of. I'm serious, man. It's so hard to lose weight. And McDonald's doesn't help because as you can guess, I'm a big McDonald's fan. They sabotage you when you try to go on a diet. You go in, you can get a Big Mac for $3.89 or 2 for 89 cents. Well, damn, man. Now they put nutritional value sheets out on the counter where you can see what the nutritional value is of every product they sell. So I head to McDonald's to get a Big Mac. I'm standing in line. I grab one of those sheets. I'm looking at it. And I swear to God, under nutritional value of a Big Mac, it says none that we fucking know of. So I had 2. Thanks. Yeah, I was watching a rerun of Jerry Springer a month or so ago, and a guy that was on there that weighed like 1,200 pounds. He had not been out of his apartment in 12 years. He had not been out of his bed in 4 years. And in the 4 years he hadn't been out of bed, he'd gained 400 pounds. How? Somebody's bringing him food. Stop it. Problem solved. I mean, wouldn't that be much less embarrassing than going on Jerry Springer and telling the world your average breakfast consists of 3 dozen eggs, 3 pounds of sausage, 3 pounds of bacon, and 3 dozen biscuits? I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, man. No gravy? That's not right. That's not the food triangle I grew up on. You know, and my mom and dad lived into their 90s, and they fried everything in bacon grease. Any other moms cook like that for you guys? Bacon grease, man. They would cook fucking asparagus and broccoli in bacon grease. Which is the only thing that makes broccoli and asparagus good. I don't know. Jeez. You know, I made out a set list. I got it in my pocket. Very unprofessional, but I'm going to look at it. Maybe. I probably ought to look at it. Larry, how are we doing on time, buddy?
Oh, you're fine.
Oh my God. Gotta tell you about this. Oh, thank you.
Hey.
Gotta tell you about this. My wife and I have 5 kids. 5. All from different fathers, but we have 5. There's at least one guy in the back looking at his calculator going, that's just not fucking possible. 5 kids. Luckily, we got all 5 of them through school, graduated, grown, and gone, and nobody ended up in a gang. Gang membership is really, really bad. Although I did read in USA Today, gang membership has dropped dramatically the last 3 or 4 years. And I read that, and I'm thinking, cool, those drive-bys are finally working. I know that was me. God, I went to a club in Orlando. This club was in a mall, and you had to get in the left-hand turn lane so that you could turn into this club. And every night that I went to the club to do the show, there was a guy that was on the median strip just left of the turn lane holding a sign. And you guys have seen this everywhere. You know, it said, hungry, homeless, please help me feed my 11 hungry kids. And I'm like looking at the sign, and you know, you see somebody like that, the only thing you can do what I do, stare straight ahead. Because if you don't make eye contact, it doesn't count. But sooner or later, you gotta look at the guy, man. So you try to do the little eye movement thing. You gotta look over at him. He walked up, knocked on my window. I rolled the window down. I said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "Man, do you have anything to give me a hand?" And I went, "Well, I'll pay for a vasectomy, I guess." Jesus Christ, 11 kids? You're overworking it, goober, I gotta tell you that. The next night I go through there, the guy's still standing there, only now he says, "Please help me feed my 5 hungry kids." I'm like, cool, there's some good old-fashioned American ingenuity right in the heart of Florida. He's eating the kids. Don't like that one, huh? Can't tell you how fucking devastated I can't tell you how much I appreciate this, Larry. I will, but we have witnesses. We'll have to do it another time. Man, the musician. Where's the musician at? What's your name?
Brian Kennedy.
Brian, you're a very good guitar player, man. I really enjoyed that a lot. Give Brian another round of applause. I really did enjoy that. Love the Reaper song, man. You know, I was around the house and heard that, and I came over and sat down. That was the shit.
He does like 3 more songs.
3 more songs, and we didn't hear them? You know, I've got like 3.5 hours of material. Believe me, you're not going to hear that either. Like I said, I am married. I've been married for 28 years. My wife's here. I better get that shit right. Been married for 28 years, and there's only one bone of contention that we seem to have had the entire time. What do men like to do on Sunday afternoon? Football. See, I didn't even hold up a sign. Football. What do women want to do on Sundays?
Shop.
Shot. No signs, no nothing. Shot. Men like football, women like to shot. 2 years ago, oh my God, it got bad. The playoffs were here. It was January. There was a game I wanted to see on TV on Sunday. So I've got the room set up, big screen TV, all tuned in just perfect. The Lazy Boy recliners in the perfect spot to see everything happening. I got refreshments taken care of. Over here I got a TV tray, and on it I got chips, pretzels. Over here I got a TV tray set up. You know what I got on that? Beer. An empty Gatorade bottle in case halftime don't come soon enough. Most of the time women groan at that. That pisses you off we can do that. It does. I know it does. We can be driving down the road at 83 mile an hour in New Jersey, by the way. We can be making a peanut butter sandwich, smoking a cigarette, tuning the radio, and we can piss in a Pepsi bottle. We can do it. And that pisses you women off. So it's getting ready for game time. And she comes into the room and stands right between me and the TV. And she goes, "Come on, let's go to the mall." And I went, "No, honey, you head to the mall. The game's about to come on." And she goes, "Did you not hear what I said? Get up off your ass. We're going to the mall." Wow. Sometimes a woman will draw that line in the sand, and you gotta just cross it, man. You don't have any choice, or you're not a man. I stood up, walked over, kicked that fucking line, and went, look, you do what you want to do today. I don't really care. Go to the mall, buy whatever you want. But there's no fucking way you're getting me out of this house today to go to no goddamn mall, bitch. So we're at the mall. And I don't know how the hell that happened. 1 second I'm sitting in my house, everything ready for the big football game. Next thing I know, I'm on purse patrol at Penny's. What the fuck? That's another thing that pisses me off. You women carry 30-pound purses and then you hand them off to us. Guys, let me tell you what you do to stop that shit. Next time your wife puts you in charge of her purse, open that fucker. I'm sitting on a bench where I usually end up, waiting on her to shop in a store, and of course I've got her purse. And she's gone for like 45 minutes, and I'm kind of getting tired of sitting there with the other guys, all holding purses. And so she at this time is at the other end of the mall, and I'm sitting outside Sears, which is a bad place to leave me. She's at the other end of the mall. I just unclasped that purse. And she's like David fucking Copperfield, man. She's standing right there. What are you doing? Nothing. She's like, give me my purse. And every guy there stood up and gave me a standing ovation. Thank you. I'm glad to do something for you guys. And she doesn't have anything in there anyway. I used Kleenexes and possibly a sex toy. That was a 3-hour little yuck last time we went out of the country on an airplane. Like I said, I am trying to watch my weight, so it requires me to kind of read labels on everything. And the government insists that they label anything you're going to eat or drink with all this bullshit information. But I'm trying to be good. And the very first label I read confused the hell out of me. I'm in a CVS, I'm looking for some medication, slight medical problem, nothing serious. I'm standing there in the aisle and I'm looking at the back of this X-Lax box. Thanks for your kindness on that. And I'll tell you what, I guarantee you, next time you're in a store, next time you're in, a drugstore, any place like that sells X-Lax, pick up the box. I swear to God, it says this on the back. Warning, in case of accidental overdose, and all I can think of is my Uncle Charlie in Louisville going, damn, these chiclets are good. In case of accidental overdose, seek professional assistance. What exactly would that be? Hello, 911? I'm gonna need a plumber. And the cleanup crew from the Exxon Valdez. This is not good. I saw something else at the drugstore too, a 6-foot display, 6 foot long, 4 foot high, of these little jars of cream. And I walked over and I picked up one, I'm reading the label on it. And it was like a cream a man could use so he could stay in the mood. And it says on it, in the directions section of the label, rub this cream on the male sexual organ for 15 minutes prior to the act. If I rub this cream on my male sexual organ for 15 minutes prior to the act, I don't need the act anymore. That's what I'm thinking. I think they ought to take all these people that make these stupid commercials for the hygiene shit, the feminine hygiene, the condoms, the male erectile dysfunction drugs. They should take all those people that manufacture those products and produce these commercials, and they should give them their own special cable TV channel. Then you could have the all day, all night, 24-hour, itchy, scratchy, yeast-infected, crotch-burning time of the month, poop in your pants network. That works. You know, it was a lot of fun for 24 years doing this for a living. It really was, because prior to that, I had some shitty jobs, man. Let's see, for a while, I was a guitar player, nothing like this one. I was a guitar player in a band. I know you're thinking, damn, Randy, that sounds like a really cool job. No, it was a polka band. You ought to see me trying to make a guitar go oompa, oompa, oompa. I look fucking silly doing that, don't I? Oompa. Then for a while, I was a bouncer in a lesbian bar. Actually, I had to quit after a month. I got tired of getting my ass kicked. That was not good. I sold Amway for a while. Door to door, third shift. I figured that was my only way to get even with those damn Jehovah's Witnesses. And you know those people. You go out drinking on a Friday night, get home just as the sun's coming up, shed all your clothes, jump into bed, go right to sleep. They come knocking on your door. What, 5:30 in the fucking morning? God, and you get out of bed, you grab your robe, you kind of sling it over yourself, you're walking to the door, you're scratching, you're itching, you're scratching. You don't care what you look like, because you're going to kill whoever the hell is on the other side of that door. And you open the door, and there's some little old lady there, not unlike your own dear sainted mother. And she's trying to sell you shit. What is it? Like the Watchtower and the Awake? I always think one thing, you know, lady, if I had a watchtower, I wouldn't be awake right now. I'm not a very good shot, but I could have picked your slow ass off at the sidewalk. I'd be back to sleep by now. You know, and they're so nice. They're like, please take these magazines, because I'm here to talk to you about God. I always interrupt them. I go, lady, don't worry about it. God called ahead. Told me to sacrifice your ass when you got here. Come on inside. Word spreads fast. They don't come to my house anymore. Larry, where we at? 28 minutes. Good. I got one more thing I want to do. Is that lovely neighbor of yours still here? Okay. Well, I need a volunteer. I can't tell you. But I need a volunteer, and I got to tell you, this is going to be hilarious for me. For you, not so much. Come on up and see me.
I'll be embarrassed?
No, probably not. Come on.
Yeah, probably
Come on.
will be.
Come on. Give her a big hand. That's Larry's mom. I met her a while ago when I was hiding around the side of the house.
Take all the dangerous off.
Oh, whoa, wait a minute. You're not going to hurt me, are you? This is bullshit. I come here for free. Your mom's threatening me. What the hell? Okay.
Get my gun and everything.
Oh, my God. Okay. Give Meryl a big hand. She's going to go sit back down now. We're good. No, come here. Jeez. She takes off her gun. Holy shit. First time I ever had that happen. Okay. You're Marilyn.
Yes.
You're Larry's mother.
Yes.
This is your home.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having us and allowing us to do this tonight. And as repayment, I'm going to interject you in this show a bit.
Okay.
Doesn't that sound fun?
Pretty funny.
You are?
No.
Great. Come on up here. What I need you to do is, need you to get behind me. Oh, trust me, this works much better with you in the back. I can't have another sexual charge, okay? So, need you to get up as close to me as you can. I showered today, it's okay. Now, I need you to put your arms through my arms. Just like that. Okay, up as close as you can come. Really, really close. Press each breast equally against my back. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands, I'm going to put them behind you on your back. Okay, I promise. There's nothing back there? Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but okay. So, what we're going to do is, you're going to act out with your hands what I say. It sounds pretty simple, right? Okay. Although I got to tell you, standing here like this, I am thinking one thing. I should have passed on the third burrito at lunch, but don't worry about it. It'll dissipate. It's fine.
We're outside.
We're outside. That's right. So here we go. Let's see. Scenario for this. Okay. It's early in the morning, and we're just waking up. So we're stretching. We're yawning. What do you do when you yawn, Marilyn? Don't you do something? There you go. We're yawning. Okay, guys, we're up. We've yawned. We've stretched. What's next? Scratching. Thank God I had a girl in New York City one time reach down and grab both the boys and tried to twist. What are you doing? I went 20 years wishing somebody would do that, and they finally did. I got my ass kicked outside after the show. Okay, so now we're just kind of standing on the street corner. We're just kind of playing some music. We got our radio with us. We're just kind of, there you go. We're just kind of having fun, enjoying the day, drinking a little wine, smoking a little dope. Marilyn has been fucked up before. Ladies and gentlemen, give Marilyn a big round of applause for playing along with me. I appreciate it. Larry, I appreciate you having me. You guys have been great. I'm Randy Rollins. Good night.
One more time for Randy and everybody else we've had tonight. My first experiment at a house show. We'll see if maybe we might be able to talk Mom and let me do another one of these sometime in the near future. As long as I stay out of jail. That's always a distinct possibility with me. But no, thank you all for coming. We still do have chili. We have some bags of popcorn here, fresh pop. Please take some with you. Some more bottled water. We got plenty. Please take some with you. And again, I'm Larry George, the Outlaw Comic. Have a good evening and drive safe.